Joining me right now is House Ways and Means Committee Chairman Kevin Brady. Mr. Chairman, it is good to see you. Thank you so much for joining us. Interesting comments from Mark Meadows. With so few days on the legislative calendar left, is this timeline realistic? Could you actually get something on the president's desk by Thanksgiving?
So our focus is in 2017. That's the timetable we're on. Both the announcement we made last month with the White House, House and Senate together on bold principles, urgency of delivering it this year, and the president committed to this timetable. We remain on that timetable. So we are working, even though we're not all in Washington right now, the president, his team, the House and Senate, on delivering a major bill here in September, moving the process forward.
Yeah, you've been working hard on this, talking to groups, trying to get the message out that this is front and center. But we know what just happened with health care. How can you give viewers or businesses confidence that, in fact, you will get this done? There is more common ground here after the debacle we just saw in health care.
Well, there is, but almost everything is different with tax reform. Reform, one, you did have a country divided on health care, but nobody defends the status quo of this horrible tax code. Secondly, we got the president, the White House, or the House and Senate moving toward a unified tax reform plan, being on the page in a bold way. You have support throughout the country. We're seeing in August, as lawmakers are home, making the case that there are a lot of job creators and small businesses out there backing our effort. And so you see a whole different timetable, process, and work than you did in health care.
I want to ask you what you're doing next week, because I know you have a big event at the Reagan Library next week. But let me ask you this first, because we're all focused on the Republicans. What about the Democrats? Fox Business has learned that the White House is actually looking to work with Democrats, the Blue Dog Democrats, on tax reform. Have you been in touch with Democrats? Do you expect them to participate in governing?
Yeah, so I have, and we've had these discussions really for over the last 6 months or so with centrist Democrats, because look, in their communities, they're seeing the same companies leave the U.S. as we are. They're seeing the same young people who can't find good paying jobs as we are, and they bring good ideas to the table. I'm hopeful we can find common ground with Democrats on tax reform, but we're moving forward because there's an urgency to get this done in 2017.
You know, we were just talking with Newt Gingrich, and Newt really made an important point. I was complaining about the Senate, and he basically said, Maria, it's not the Senate's fault. The president should not be attacking people like Mitch McConnell. He should be attacking the Democrats who have not participated. But Chairman Brady, President Trump slammed Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell over Obamacare, even alluding that he could retire. Listen to this.
Mitch, get to work and let's get it done. I'll tell you what, if he doesn't get repeal and replace done, and if he doesn't get taxes done, meaning cuts and reform, and if he doesn't get a very easy one to get done, infrastructure, if he doesn't get them done, then you can ask me that question.
And, of course, that question he's answering, a reporter question of should Mitch McConnell retire?
We are all on the same team here. And unless we're working together closely, as we are on tax reform, we're not going to deliver on our promises, especially on issues like tax reform. And I'll tell you, our small businesses back, our local businesses, our families are counting on not just tax relief, but a simplification the way Washington taxes them. There's an urgency and I think a hunger for tax reform. So we do have a lot of work to do, but I like the way the House, the Senate, and the White House are working together on this.
You are going to the Reagan Ranch next week. You've got a big event planned. Tell us what you're doing on Wednesday.
You know, so Wednesday 16th, it's a historic location, President Reagan's ranch, but to mark a historic day. On that same day, 31 years ago, House and Senate conferees reached an agreement to send President Reagan his tax reform. It was game-changing and really kicked off almost 20 years and 37 million new jobs because of that tax reform. It's time to make the case directly to the American people why now is the time for us to deliver on those principles again.
Yeah, and it's great that you're doing it at this historic place to make a big deal about it. But how much of this infighting with the president lashing out and Mitch McConnell saying, look, we got a new president and he hasn't been in this job before and he's got excessive expectations, is that getting in the way of getting things done?
Well, certainly not on tax reform.
Okay.
Because, again, I really like both the pace and the substance of our discussions in these tax working group that we have with the president and the Senate as well. We know these are big issues. There is a lot of more work to be done. But again, I haven't seen anything yet, Maria, that knocks us off our timetable for delivering this year.
So let's go through some of the big events, because you've got the debt ceiling that is expected to be raised at the end of September. What are the steps to get you to reconciliation to actually get a bill on the president's desk by Thanksgiving?
So thank you for asking that, because there really is a runway here, and a key part of this is passing next year's budget that not just balances the budget over time, but gives us the vehicle for delivering tax reform to the President's desk. In the budget is the process that allows the Senate to go around the obstructionism of the Democrats to deliver it to the President's desk. So this budget is unlike any I've voted on in my life, because this is the tax reform budget. Critical we get it done.
So you'll raise the debt ceiling end of September. The budget will be voted on
somewhere in that timetable as well.
Right now.
Yep.
So so you see that happening end of September, October, and then what goes on then in order to get you'll have hearings or markups or what?
Yeah, so we will deliver a tax reform bill in September. The Ways and Means Committee will begin it and begin the process through the House. We want to make sure we give the Senate plenty of time for work as well. We're going to need the President, House Republicans, Senate Republicans, and Democrats who can bring their best ideas to the table. You know, those are the elements that can help us achieve this.